Today we are going to discuss enzymology in the form of Viva question answer. So basically here whole topic of enzymology is covered in the form of Viva questions. So most commonly asked Viva question in relation to the enzyme. The first question that is generally what is enzyme? So simply you can enzyme explain this enzyme in the one word that is biocatalyst. Basically this enzyme is a one kind of molecule that take part in the reaction, increase the rate of reaction, and at the end of reaction we are getting the same molecule, that enzyme, back. So basically it is needed or helpful for the various biological reaction inside our body, or simply in a one word that is biocatalyst. Mostly all enzymes are protein in nature, that also you have to remember. So basically enzyme is also produced in the same manner as a protein, that is transcription and translation. So in this manner this enzyme is produced. Now most common question in relation to the enzymology, that is enzyme classification. You have to remember this enzyme is initially classified randomly, but later on IUBMB, that is International Union of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, have defined this enzyme or classified this enzyme particularly in a manner of EC. EC means enzyme class, and later on 4 digit. That 4 digit indicating first digit indicate class, second digit indicate subclass, third digit indicate subclass, and fourth one for the particular enzyme number. So that enzyme classification, in this enzyme classification mostly you have to remember that class. So various 6 class you have to remember. So basically enzyme are classified into 6 major classes: oxidoreductase, transferase, hydrolysis, lysis, isomerases, and ligases. Simply you can remember in the form of OTHLIL. O means oxidoreductase, T means transferase, H means hydrolysis, LIL means lysis, isomerases, and ligases. So that is simple classification of enzyme. Further, question, function, and example of oxidoreductase. So oxidoreductase is basically related with the transfer of the hydrogen. So transfer of hydrogen, that is the main function of this enzyme class. Further example or best example you can remember, that is alcohol dehydrogenase, which is converting alcohol into the acetaldehyde, or in particular ethanol to the acetaldehyde, or alcohol to the aldehyde. Function and example of the transferase, that is another class of the enzyme. So transferase, that is transfer the group other than hydrogen, so that is called transferase. So transfer of group other than hydrogen, best example that is hexokinase, that is also important key enzyme of the glycolysis pathway, which is converting glucose into the glucose 6 phosphate, and it is under the group category, or it is under the class of the transferase. So that is about the further question, that is function and example of the hydrolysis. Simply you have to remember hydro means water, hydrolysis means adding of water molecule and breakdown of a molecule. So cleaves bond after adding of a water, and best example that is acetylcholine esterase, which will break down acetylcholine into the acetate and choline molecule. Peptidases are which type of enzyme? So these all peptidases are mostly hydrolysis, so they are also present in particularly gastrointestinal tract. Basically all enzymes of GI tract, they are mostly belonging to the hydrolysis. So in our GI tract, gastrointestinal tract, enzyme are mostly adding water molecule and break down whatever the food stuff we have taken in a smaller level. So function and example of lysis. So cleaves bond here without adding of water, hydrolysis and lysis. So without adding of water molecule, that is function of the lysis, and best example that is aldolase enzyme. Further, in viva question, which enzyme will add water to a double bond without breaking the bond? So here you have to remember hydratase. Hydratase, that is also one of the enzyme in the beta oxidation of fatty acid. Basically it is not breaking the bond, but whenever the double bond is there, in that double bond, if there is both the side carbon is present, over the one carbon hydroxyl group will go, and another carbon there is only hydrogen molecule is go, and that will be breaking of a or utilization of the water bond and water molecule, and that requirement of enzyme, that is hydratase. So that enzyme you have to remember. Further, example of isomerase. So triose phosphate isomerase, that is the best example. Simply you can remember glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate into the DHAP, that is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. That interconversion, that is one of the example of the glycolysis pathway, and that already you are knowing, and that is the best example of the isomerase. So dihydroxyacetone phosphate can be converted into the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate with the help of this isomerase, particularly triose phosphate isomerase. function of ligases. Ligases, that is also one class of the enzyme. So ATP dependent condensation means joining of two molecules, that is called a ligase function of the ligases. So basically ligases group of enzyme, they are joined two molecule, but it is requirement of the ATP. Further, in relation to the ligases, always a one question is asked, that is difference between synthase and synthetase. Simply that two spelling are different, that synthase and synthetase. So you have to remember synthetases are ATP dependent enzyme catalyzing the biosynthetic reaction, and they are belonging to the ligases class of the enzyme. So synthetase, here you can also remember that extra T is present, so ATP is needed. Now synthase, so syntheses are enzyme catalyzing biosynthetic reaction but do not require ATP, and that is the main difference between these two group of enzyme, and they belonging to the class other than the ligases. So synthetase need ATP and they are belonging to ligases. Synthase does not need ATP and they are other than the ligases group. So that is the most important MCQ as well as Viva question. Example of synthetases. So carbamyl phosphate synthetase, argininosuccinate synthetase, PRPP synthetase, and glutamine synthetase. In all these reaction ATP is needed. Simply carbamyl phosphate synthetase, it is important reaction of the urea cycle as well as pyrimidine synthesis. Also PRPP, that is phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate, that is also important reaction related to the purine or pyrimidine nitrogen base synthesis. So that all are the important example of the synthetase, and in all these reaction ATP is needed. Example of the synthesis here: glycogen synthase, ALA synthase, and inosine monophosphate synthase. In all these reaction, joining of two molecules is occurring but ATP will not be utilized. So that is example of the synthesis. Further Viva question: what are coenzymes? So a non-protein part of the enzyme, that is called as a coenzyme. So mostly enzyme is a protein, but non-protein part is sometimes is present, and that is called a coenzyme, and it is essential for the biological activity of the enzyme. A low molecular weight organic substance without which the enzyme cannot exhibit any reaction. Coenzyme accept one of the product of the reaction and so act as a sometime co-substrate by accepting the some molecule. So that is importance of that is the coenzyme. What is holoenzyme? So when apoenzyme means a protein part of enzyme, that is called a apoenzyme, and coenzyme means non-protein part of enzyme, these two are combined and making a molecule, that is called a holoenzyme. So enzyme basically protein, so a protein part of enzyme, that is called a apoenzyme, non-protein part, that is called a coenzyme, and these two combine and making a holoenzyme. So that is holoenzyme. Fully active enzyme is called as a holoenzyme. So that all are the important Viva question. Further, coenzyme classification, same as a enzyme classification, sometimes it is asked in the Viva, what is coenzyme classification? Those taking part in reaction catalyzed by oxidoreductase by donating or accepting hydrogen atom or electron. So oxidoreductase, that is first class of the enzyme, and in this reaction what happen, hydrogen is accepted or donated. So those particular molecule which are helping in this oxidoreductase type of reaction, that is considered one type of classification of coenzyme. It is also sometimes called a group of the coenzyme. So one group of coenzyme that is related with the oxidoreductase. Another group, those coenzyme taking part in the reaction transferring group other than hydrogen, that is called another type of coenzyme. So one coenzyme classification that is related with oxidoreductase transfer of the hydrogen. Another group of coenzyme that is related with the other than hydrogen. Their example that is also frequently asked in the Viva. So example of coenzyme involved in a oxidoreductase. So they are basically transferring the hydrogen. So NAD, NADP, and FAD. So NAD is converted into NADH, NADP is converted into NADPH, FAD is converted into FADH2. Now frequently asked question, that is what is the difference between NADH and NADPH? So both are different or same? Both are the different. The main difference in relation to the phosphate. Apart from that, you have to say a most important difference. NADH will be utilized in electron transport chain and will generate 2.5 ATP, but NADPH will not generate any ATP, and that is the most important answer of this difference. Further, NADH is mostly generated in a glycolysis pathway, while NADPH is generated in a HMP shunt pathway. That is also important question and frequently asked. Now FAD, FADH2 that will be produce 1.5 ATP in an electron transport chain. Further, some question will be asked from which vitamin this NAD and NADP will be generated. That is generated from NAD and NADP is generated from the niacin, while FAD is generated from the riboflavin. So what is the full form of NAD? That is also asked in the Viva. That is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Also question, what is FAD? So flavin adenine dinucleotide. So simply from the flavin also you can remember riboflavin, that is vitamin B2, and from that vitamin B2 we are getting this FAD. So that are the important Viva question. Give some example of coenzymes involved in reaction other than hydrogen transfer. So that is second group of coenzyme. So they are the thymine pyrophosphate, pyridoxal phosphate, biotin, coenzyme A, and ATP. TPP, that is short form of thymine pyrophosphate, that is derived from the vitamin B1. Pyridoxal phosphate, that is called PLP, that is derived from the vitamin B6. Biotin, that is also considered a group of the vitamin B complex, as well as coenzyme A, that is also part of the vitamin B complex. Simply you can remember that second group of coenzyme that is mostly belonging to the vitamin B complex. Suppose thymine pyrophosphate, that is TPP, derived from vitamin B1, it is mostly related with the carbohydrate related metabolism, while pyridoxal phosphate is related with the particularly protein related metabolism. Biotin is related with the carboxylation reaction. So most of the carboxylation reaction means adding of carbon dioxide, biotin is needed. Coenzyme A, that is mostly present in the form of CoA. So CoA, that is important part of the lipid metabolism, that also you can remember. ATP, that is also important or energy providing molecule, and that is also working as a second group of a coenzyme. So what is the full form of ATP? That is adenosine triphosphate, that is full form of the ATP. Further in Viva question, name the enzyme containing the copper. So superoxide dismutase, tyrosinase, and cytochrome oxidase, these are the important enzymes which are containing copper molecule. Which metal is required for the action of the kinases? So all kinases required one particular metal, and that you have to remember, that is magnesium. So all kinases, simply three important kinases of glycolysis, and key enzyme of glycolysis you can simply remember hexokinase, phosphofructokinase, and pyruvate kinase. All these kinases needed magnesium as a metal ion. So for it is working as a metalloenzyme. Chloride ion activate which enzyme? So you have to remember amylase needed this chloride ion. This amylase is also of the two types, salivary amylase and pancreatic amylase. In this amylase also sometimes question is asked, what is the best for the pancreatitic estimation, whether to diagnose pancreatitis, which marker is best, whether it is lipase or amylase? You have to say lipase, because amylase, that is of the two type, that is salivary amylase and pancreatic amylase. So sometime in the mumps there is also increased level of amylase apart from the pancreatitis. So sometime it is misdiagnosis about the pancreatitis. So in the mumps that amylase level is indirectly increased, while lipase will not be affected in the mumps. So particular lipase is more particular diagnostic marker or molecule for the pancreatitis. So that is also importance of the amylase. Amylase is basically directed to the metabolism of carbohydrate. Which enzyme contains molybdenum? So you have to remember this molybdenum is needed for the activity of xanthine oxidase enzyme. Further, name some iron containing enzyme. So iron molecule is needed for the some enzyme activity, particularly cytochrome oxidase, catalase, peroxidase, and xanthine oxidase. Now interesting is that this xanthine oxidase need both molybdenum as well as iron molecule. Same way cytochrome oxidase also need iron molecule. Also we have discussed that copper. So copper and iron both is needed for the activity of the cytochrome oxidase. So these are the some important MCQ, important Viva question, as well as these are frequently asked in the MCQ also. So that you have to remember about the metalloenzyme. What is Michaelis-Menten theory? It is otherwise called the enzyme substrate complex theory. The enzyme combines with the substrate to form the ES complex, which immediately break down to the enzyme and the product. Now in whole this theory, what happen, enzyme is combined with the substrate and make ES complex, and up to this it is reversible. But once product is generated, then this enzyme substrate complex to the product, that is called a irreversible reaction, and that is Michaelis-Menten theory. Further, one more Viva question, what is Fischer's theory? So it is stated that The three-dimensional structure of the active site of the enzyme is complementary to the substrate, and it is best explained with the help of lock and key theory. So thus enzyme substrate fit each other like a lock and key. So particular key is needed to open a particular lock. Same way particular substrate will attach over the particular lock. But it is considered very rigid theory. It is not explaining each and every enzymatic reaction, but it is, even though it is very useful to explain enzymatic activity inside our body. Further Viva question, what is Costland's induced fit theory? Here you have to remember about example of the gloves. So simply what happened in gloves, initially totally folded. So when you have put your hand in the gloves, your hand will exactly fit in the gloves. So what happened in Costland induced fit theory? It is explaining when substrate is attached over the enzyme have a conformational changes, and this conformational changes is very helpful for the final enzymatic reaction. So substrate induced conformational changes in the enzyme such that precise orientation of catalytic group is affected, and that is Costland induced fit theory. So here you can remember lock and key theory, Costland induced fit theory, you can remember gloves. Further Viva question, that is, what is active site or active center of the enzyme? So that area of the enzyme where catalysis occur is referred to as a active site or active center. So basically catalysis occur over the particular site where the substrate is attached over the enzyme. So over that particular site where substrate is attached over the enzyme, that is called catalytic site or otherwise active site or active center of the enzyme. What is meant by serine proteases? So basically proteases means proteolytic enzyme having a serine residue at their active center. Suppose there is an enzyme and over which this particular substrate is attached, and where substrate is attached over that site of enzyme serine amino acid is present, so that all enzyme are called as serine proteases. Basically proteases means proteolytic enzyme, so that is serine proteases. Over the active site or active center serine molecule is present. Give an example of that serine proteases: trypsin, chymotrypsin, thrombin. These are the important example of the serine proteases. Basically trypsin is secreted in the form of trypsinogen, chymotrypsin in a chymotrypsinogen, that is in active form. But when that particular molecule of protein is present, they will be converted into the active form. So they are the important example of the serine proteases. Thermodynamically, how reactions are classified? So that is three: exothermic, isothermic and endothermic reaction, and each have a important meaning. Exothermic means they will release the energy, isothermic there is a negligible change in the energy level, endothermic for that type of reaction energy need to be given, so that reaction will perform only when energy is available. So what is exothermic reaction? So here energy is released from the reaction and therefore reaction essentially goes to the completion. And in this exothermic, mostly that most substrate is converted into the product, and this product is not easily converted back into the substrate. So best example, that is urease enzyme that can convert urea into the ammonia plus carbon dioxide and energy is released. But same enzyme cannot convert ammonia plus carbon dioxide to the urea, that is exothermic reaction. Further Viva question, what is endergonic reaction? So energy is consumed and external energy is to be supplied for this kind of reaction. So in the body, this is usually accomplished by the coupling of this endergonic reaction with a exergonic reaction. And best example, that is hexokinase, that is again a important molecule or important enzyme of the glycolysis pathway, which is converting glucose into glucose 6 phosphate, but during this process energy is needed and that is provided from the ATP. So that is best example of the endergonic reaction where energy is needed. Further Viva question, what are the key features of the enzyme kinetics? So enzyme basically needed for the lowering of activation energy, and that is the main features of the enzyme kinetic. They increase the chemical reaction but do not alter the equilibrium of the reaction. So further question, what are the factor affects or influencing the enzyme reaction? So you have to remember a list of the factor, that is enzyme concentration, substrate concentration and product concentration. That is simply from the Michaelis-Menten theory. Enzyme plus substrate make ES complex to the product. So these three concentration of molecule, that is of one of the important factors for influencing enzyme activity: temperature as well as pH, activator or inhibitor of the enzyme, as well as induction, repression of the enzyme, further compartmentalization and covalent modification. These all are the important factor which can affect enzyme activity. Now These all factor depending on that various viva question are there, and that we will look. So what is Km value? So that Km value, that is defined as a substrate concentration which is expressed as a moles per liter at half maximal velocity, and that is called a Km value. So most frequently asked, what does it indicate, or what is the importance of the Km value? So basically this Km denotes that 50% of enzyme molecule are bound with the substrate molecule at that particular substrate concentration. What is Km? That is substrate concentration at half maximal velocity. When sufficient substrate is present and all enzymes are working at that time maximum velocity, that is called a Vmax. But half of the Vmax, what happens at that level, whatever the substrate concentration, that is called a Km value, and it is indicating at that Km value 50% means half of the enzyme molecule are attached with the substrate and that particular substrate concentration, and that is indication of the Km value. It is lots of significance for the understanding of the enzyme activity. So what is significance of Km value, that we will look. Km is independent of the enzyme concentration. Km value is thus constant for particular enzyme. So it is also called the signature of the enzyme. It is the characteristic feature of a particular enzyme for a particular substrate. Here also you have to remember that Km is particular for that particular substrate only. Suppose hexokinase, that is one important enzyme which can work over the any hexose molecule. It may be a glucose, fructose or galactose, but the Km value will be different for the glucose and fructose, but it will be remain fixed for the hexokinase. So that you have to remember Km value is fixed for the particular enzyme along with a specific substrate. So Km denotes the affinity of enzyme to the substrate also. So if lower the value of Km, higher the affinity for the substrate. If higher the Km value, lower the affinity for the substrate. Thus the lesser the numerical value of Km, the affinity of the enzyme for the substrate is more. So that is the most important significance of the Km or Michaelis constant. What is the use of assessing the Km value of an enzyme, and what is the application? So basically it is determination of Km value is also useful to understand the natural substrate for the enzyme. So those who have a lower Km value have high affinity. So suppose that any two enzyme can work over a single substrate. Now this substrate will work or attach over which enzyme, so that can be defined with the or understand with the help of this Km value simply. So if suppose two enzyme, one enzyme have a Km value of 10 and another enzyme have a Km value of 0.01 and one substrate is present, so those who have a particular higher Km value, they have a lower affinity for the substrate, but those enzyme which have a lower Km value have a higher affinity for the substrate. So particular enzyme which have a lower Km value, that will attach over the substrate. So substrate will directly react with that particular enzyme which have a lower Km value, and that is significance or usefulness of the understanding of Km value or assessing of the Km value. So study of Km value also determine the competitive and non-competitive inhibition in relation to the substrate and inhibitor. So that is the main significance. What is the effect of temperature on enzyme velocity? That is also asked in the viva. The velocity of reaction increase when temperature is increased, reaches a maximum and then fall down. And so it is initially increase and later on fall down. So once it is attaching maximum, that is called optimum temperature, and further over it will be decreased. So it is making a bell shape curve. So that is the most important effect of the temperature over the enzyme. So why it is falling down? So when temperature is more than 50 degrees centigrade, heat denaturation will occur. Basically all enzymes are protein in nature, so they will follow all the characteristic of protein. So this enzyme will be denatured and consequently loss of the tertiary structure of the protein. Basically tertiary structure, that is decide the domain part or functional unit of the molecule of the protein. So that will be lost in when there is a high temperature, so that gradually activity of that enzyme will be lost. So that fall of graph, that is determining a denaturation of the enzyme. So that is the importance of temperature in relation to the enzyme activity. What is the effect of pH on the activity of an enzyme? So each enzyme has an optimum pH on both sides of which the velocity will drastically reduce, and that is same bell shape curve will produce in the pH also. So same as a temperature, pH will also develop this bell-shaped curve, and this graph will show a particular bell-shaped pattern. So over both the side, the enzyme activity will be decreased. So what is the explanation for the effect of pH? Basically, pH, whether it is acidic or alkaline, that will decide the charge over the amino acid, and this charge, basically, enzyme is made up of the protein, so protein is ultimately made up of the amino acid, and that enzyme will attach over the substrate with the help of various charge over the amino acid over the active site. So the pH of the surrounding tissue decide the charge on the amino acid residue at the active site or active center, and the net charge of the enzyme protein would influence the substrate binding over the catalytic site and whether reaction will occur or not. So that is the use of pH or importance of pH in relation to the enzyme activity. Further Viva question: what is the optimum pH for usual enzymes? So usually enzymes have the optimum pH between 6 to 8. Are there any important exceptions for this general rule? So you have to remember pepsin. It is important enzyme present in the stomach. So basically pepsin is generated from the pepsinogen, and for the activity of pepsin, maximum optimum pH needed, that is around 1 to 2, that is acidic. So simply you are knowing that in a stomach there is a acidic pH, and that is needed for the activity of pepsin. Same way, alkaline phosphatase optimum pH is 9 to 10. That 9 to 10, that is showing alkaline. From the name also you can understand or remember, alkaline phosphatase is mostly working in a alkaline medium. Same way, acid phosphatase, that is working in a acidic medium. So they have maximum activity in this particular pH only. If pH is altered, then their enzyme activity will be affected. Further Viva question in relation to this, that is, what is zymogen? So it is otherwise called a proenzyme, or inactive zymogen is activated by removal a piece of the proenzyme. So mostly a long polypeptide chain, and from that long polypeptide chain, that is making a proenzyme form or the zymogen, and from that particular part of the enzyme is removed. So that particular enzyme is converted into the active form. Simply example, trypsinogen is converted to the trypsin, pepsinogen to the pepsin. So give example of zymogen is frequently asked along with this zymogen questioning. So by splitting a single peptide bond and removal of a small polypeptide from the trypsinogen, the active trypsin is generated. This result in an unmasking of the active site or active center over that enzyme. So that is the main example of that zymogen, that is trypsinogen and pepsinogen to the pepsin and trypsin respectively. What is the significance of this zymogen activation? Why this type of proenzyme need to be produced in the body? So answer is, gastrointestinal enzymes are synthesized in the form of proenzyme, and only after secretion into the GI tract or alimentary tract they are activated. Otherwise what happens, suppose inside the cell they will be activated, then they will digest important protein or carbohydrate molecule inside the cell, which can be damage the whole cell. So this enzyme is mostly secreted in the form of proenzyme or zymogen, and once they are attached or present in the GI tract, then they will be get activated. So this prevent autolysis of cellular structural protein as well as important molecules. Coagulation factor are also seen in blood in the form of zymogen. So their activation take place only when it is necessary. So this prevent unnecessary intravascular coagulation, and that is the main significance of the zymogen activation. Further Viva question: what are the different type of inhibition of enzyme activity? So you have to remember this different type of enzyme activity or enzyme inhibition: competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition, one more, that is uncompetitive inhibition, suicidal inhibition, and allosteric regulation, or also called allosteric inhibition. So what are the main features of this competitive inhibition? So basically, competitive inhibitor is a structural analog, means this inhibitor is structurally similar to the substrate. That is the main features of the competitive inhibition. This type of inhibition is reversible. When this type of inhibitor is present, then what happens, Km value will be increased. So affinity of enzyme towards the substrate is decreased, but Vmax, means maximum velocity of enzyme, will not change. So these are the main features. You have to remember, competitive means Km value is increase or changing. So in relation to the Km value, you have to remember this inhibition, competitive as well as non-competitive. Give example of competitive inhibition. So malonate inhibits succinate dehydrogenase. Succinate dehydrogenase, that is important example or enzyme of the TCA cycle. So malonate, that is also inhibitor of the TCA cycle. So malonate is being a structurally similar to the succinate, and that is able to inhibit the succinate dehydrogenase enzyme. Give example of clinical application of competitive inhibition. So sulfonamide inhibits PABA incorporation in the bacteria and so act as an antibacterial agent. Basically sulfonamide or sulfur drug, they are commonly used as an antibacterial agent. So how it is working, that we are looking. Sulfonamide, that is structurally similar to the PABA, para amino benzoic acid. So this PABA is basically needed for the folic acid formation, and this folic acid is needed for this bacteria for the bacterial cell wall formation. But sulfonamide is given instead of this PABA. Sulfonamide will attach, or so ultimately folic acid is not generated inside the bacteria, and so they are not generating bacterial cell wall and they will be destroyed. So sulfonamide, by destroying the bacteria, they are working as an antibacterial agent. Same way methotrexate, it is structurally similar to the folic acid. So this methotrexate will attach over the folate reductase, and folate reductase working will be affected. So folate reductase system, that is also needed for the particular cell division as well as purine and pyrimidine formation. So this folate reductase is inhibited with the help of methotrexate. So basically methotrexate working as an anti-cancer drug. Same way dicomarol, that is structurally similar to the vitamin K. Now vitamin K is needed for the coagulation activity, but dicomarol is given, so that will affect vitamin K activity. So dicomarol will act as an anticoagulant. So these are the best example of clinical application of competitive inhibition. So that is also frequently asked in the Viva. Further, in this Viva question, what are the key features of non-competitive inhibition? Same as a competitive, you have to remember this non-competitive inhibitor key features. So non-competitive inhibitor has no structural similarity with the substrate. That is the main difference in relation to the competitive and non-competitive. It is generally not reversible. Km is not change. Non-competitive means no change in the Km, but Vmax is reduced in this non-competitive inhibition, and that is the main key features of the non-competitive inhibition. What is the immediate treatment for methanol poisoning? So simply you have to remember, methanol is oxidized by alcohol dehydrogenase to the formaldehyde, and which is causing the acute toxicity. So basically alcohol dehydrogenase, that is metabolizing methanol and making formaldehyde, which is more dangerous. So we have to decrease activity of alcohol dehydrogenase, and that is possible by this competitive inhibition. So antidote of this methanol poisoning, that is ethanol. So that is which is natural substrate for the alcohol dehydrogenase. So instead of when ethanol is given, ethanol will attach over this alcohol dehydrogenase. So ethanol is preferentially utilized in a treatment of immediate treatment of the methanol poisoning. So that is the best answer for this question of methanol poisoning. Give example of non-competitive inhibition. You have to remember diisopropyl fluorophosphate inhibit trypsin. Fluoride inhibit the enolase. So basically diisopropyl fluorophosphate, that is inhibit trypsin, that is example of non-competitive. This is not structurally similar to the substrate for the trypsin. Same way fluoride is inhibiting the enolase, that is also not a competitive inhibition, it is a non-competitive. Fluoride is able to inhibit enolase. That is most important Viva question or example of the non-competitive inhibition. So now iodoacetate inhibit enzyme by reacting with which group at the active site of the enzyme? So iodoacetate, that is able to inhibit a group of enzyme, but at which particular group present over the active site of the enzyme? So that you have to remember, sulfityl group. So this iodoacetate is able to inhibit all enzymes those having a sulfityl or SH group over their active site. Further Viva question, what is the mechanism of inhibitory action of diisopropyl fluorophosphate? So basically it is inhibiting by attaching over the enzyme. Over the enzyme particular serine molecule is present, serine amino acid. So over that active center of the serine of the enzyme, this diisopropyl fluorophosphate is attaching, and best example that is acetylcholine esterase. So basically this molecule is inhibiting enzyme by attaching over the serine group or serine active center of the enzyme. Further Viva question, what is suicide inhibition? So in suicide inhibition, the structural analog is converted to a more effective inhibitor with the help of enzyme to be inhibited. So what happens? The inhibitor makes use of enzyme's own reaction mechanism to inactivate. Simply substrate is given, so enzyme will attach over the substrate and make a product. Now whatever this product is generated, that will inhibit the enzyme activity, so this enzyme is further not able to attach over the any substrate molecule. So that is called suicidal inhibition, means killing of own reaction. So that is suicide inhibition. Give example of suicide inhibition, that is most commonly next question after that suicidal inhibition explanation. So that you have to remember, ornithine decarboxylase enzyme is inhibited by difluoromethylornithine. So that is the best example of this suicide inhibition. Further, another example is allopurinol, which is oxidized by xanthine oxidase and make a alloxanthine, that is strong inhibitor of the xanthine oxidase enzyme. Now this basically xanthine oxidase is responsible for the uric acid formation. Uric acid level is increased in the gout. Now so basically in the gout, this allopurinol is given as a drug. So basically how this allopurinol drug, that is also explained in this suicidal inhibition. So basically allopurinol, when attached over the xanthine oxidase, make a alloxanthine. Now this alloxanthine is potent inhibitor of this xanthine oxidase, so further activity of xanthine oxidase will be stopped. So allopurinol is also explaining this suicidal inhibition, also giving as a drug in a gout, that you have to remember. Further viva question, what is allosteric inhibition, or sometimes called what is allosteric regulation? So allosteric enzyme has one catalytic site where the substrate binds and other separate site, and that is called allosteric site where the modifier molecule is binding. So that is called allosteric inhibition. Give example of allosteric inhibition. So ALA synthase, aspartyl transcarbamylase, HMG CoA reductase, these are the example of allosteric inhibition. Further viva question, what are the main features of allosteric inhibition? So inhibitor is not a substrate analog as a competitive inhibition. It is a partially reversible when excess substrate is added. Km value is usually increased and Vmax is reduced. So both are affected in this allosteric regulation. So most allosteric enzyme possess quaternary structure because they need a multiple site for the attachment of a substrate as well as modifier. So they are mostly having a quaternary structure and they are made up of the various subunits. So that is multiple units are combined and making a one functional enzyme. Further viva question, what is covalent modification? So it means either addition of a group to the enzyme protein by covalent bond. So that covalent bond is helping to adding of a group or removal of a group by cleaving of that particular covalent bond, and that is called a covalent modification over the enzyme, and it is also one of the factor for the enzyme activity. So most commonly asked viva question about that covalent modification, that is what is covalent modification and example of that covalent modification. So glycogen synthase is inactive in the phosphorylated state. So mostly this glycogen synthase is remain inactive in the phosphorylated state, whereas what happen, glycogen phosphorylate, glycogen synthase means making of glycogen will be remain inactive when phosphate molecule is present over this enzyme of the glycogen synthase. So again, where glycogen phosphorylase is converted into the active form there when they are phosphorylated, means for the activity of glycogen phosphorylase this enzyme need a phosphate. So phosphate is added, so glycogen phosphorylase will be activated and more glucose will be liberated from the glycogen. So that is the best example of the covalent modification. Further viva question, what do you mean by induction? So induction is effected at the level of DNA. Mostly enzyme activity can be controlled at the local or directly over the enzyme molecule, but further this enzyme activity can be affected with the help of affecting this DNA level, because basically all enzymes are protein in nature. Protein is synthesized in the form of transcription translation same way. So this enzyme number can be modified with the help of this induction. So inducer will relieve the repression on the operator side of the DNA and will remove the block on the biosynthesis of enzyme molecule over the DNA. So when this induction molecule is present, further production or more production of enzyme is occurring with the help of that gene of the enzyme. So that is called a induction, means increase or increase production of total number of enzyme, that is called a induction of the enzyme. So that is frequently asked in the viva. So Same way, give an example of induction. So induction of lactose utilizing enzyme in the bacteria when the media contains lactose in the absence of glucose. So generally bacteria utilize the glucose, but suppose that glucose is not present and lactose is present. So generally bacteria does not contains this lactose utilizing enzyme, that is lactase, but bacteria will produce lactose utilizing enzyme in the presence of lactose. So lactose is working as a inducer of this lactose utilizing enzyme or the lactase. For same way, in human, tryptophan, pyrrolase and transaminases are induced in the presence of glucocorticoids. So glucocorticoids is helping for the increased activity or induction of transaminase enzyme. Same way, glucokinase is important enzyme for conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate present in the liver, and that is induced in the presence of high number of glucose. So just after taking of meal, what happen, glucose level will increase in our body, and for the utilization or conversion of glucose to glycogen, this glucokinase is needed. So glucokinase have a higher km value and that have a lower affinity for the glucose, but when glucose concentration is increased, the activity of glucokinase will be started. Same way, ALA synthase is induced by the barbiturate. So these also given as a drug. So that all are the example of the induction. Further, in this Viva question, what are constitutive enzyme? So it is most frequently or most important question in relation to the enzymes whose concentration in a cell is independent of inducer are called as a constitutive enzyme. So that is no effect of the inducer molecule for the concentration of that enzyme. So that is called a constitutive enzyme or the basic enzyme of the cell. What is repression? Same as the induction, you have to remember repression. So repression, that is exactly opposite to the induction. Repression act at the gene level. So what happens? The number of enzyme molecule is reduced in the presence of this repressor molecule. Induction will increase the total number of enzyme, while repression molecule that will decrease the total number of enzyme molecule. So that is repression. So give an example of repression. The key enzyme of heme synthesis, which is responsible for the heme formation. So ALA synthase, that key enzyme of heme synthesis, is auto-regulated by the heme by means of the repression. So what is the end product of heme synthesis? That is heme itself. So when heme is sufficiently produced, that heme will lead to the repression of this key enzyme of heme synthesis, that is ALA synthase. So when heme is present or work as a repression, the formation of ALA synthase will be decreased in the cell. So automatically that heme synthesis formation will decrease. So that is called repression of the heme synthesis. Further, in this enzymology frequently asked, that is give example of multi-enzyme complex. So few are particular enzyme, they are made up of the multiple enzymes and coenzymes, and they are called multi-enzyme complexes. Best example, that is fatty acid synthase, pyruvate dehydrogenase and alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase. Fatty acid synthase is needed for the new de novo fatty acid synthesis. Pyruvate dehydrogenase, that is also important enzyme, so that it is also a multi-enzyme complex. Alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, that is also a multi-enzyme complex. Simply for the pyruvate dehydrogenase or PDH, you have to remember it is needed 3 enzyme and 5 coenzyme, same as a alpha ketoglutarate. But in PDH, coenzyme name that you have to remember, that is vitamin B1, B2, B3, B5. That is simply to remember, I have made this number B1, 2, 3 and 5. B1 means thiamine pyrophosphate, B2 means FAD, B3 means NAD, and B5 means particular coenzyme A, as well as lipoamide. These 5 coenzyme is needed for the activity of this multi-enzyme complex. So sometime it is asked in the Viva also, name the coenzyme needed for the PDH activity or pyruvate dehydrogenase activity. Further Viva question, that is what are the types of specificity shown by the enzyme? So you have to remember enzyme showing absolute specificity, sometimes showing group specificity, bond specificity and stereo specificity. So there is an example of absolute specificity. So urea is the only substrate for the urease, and that is showing absolute specificity of the urease enzyme. So urease is able to work only over the urea, a structurally similar molecule, that is thiourea, but it is not able to act over the urease enzyme. So that is example of the absolute specificity. Same way, Give an example of the bond specificity. So trypsin can hydrolyze peptide bonds formed by the carboxyl group of arginine or lysine residues only. So that is showing the bond specificity by that enzyme trypsin. Same way, give an example of the group specificity. So here best example, that is hexokinase. So hexokinase, that is the particular enzyme that can work over a group of the substrate, and that group of substrate, that is the hexose. You can remember from the name hexokinase, that is hexose. So hexose are the glucose, fructose and galactose. So this enzyme can work over these three hexose, but that is showing a group specificity of the enzyme. Give an example of the stereospecificity. Here all our body enzyme, means human enzymes, are showing a stereospecificity, like they will work over the D carbohydrate and L amino acid only. Suppose we are taking L carbohydrate and D amino acid, our body cannot digest that particular molecule. So that particular D carbohydrate and L amino acid stereospecificity is shown by our enzyme, that is particular called as stereospecificity. So that's all about the most important Viva question in relation to the enzyme. I have tried to cover whole the enzymology topic in this Viva question answer and summary of that whole topic of the enzymology.